Hi and welcome to SCW, the wrestling channel here on YouTube.com. Thank you for choosing the channel and choosing the video. Please subscribe right now. Leave any comments in the comment section. Please like and share the video as well. Emergence Night 2 is in the books. Going to give you my results and feelings on the show. I'm positive overall. Really enjoyed it, to be fair. Particularly the main event, which I want to dive into straight away. Sorry it's not going in show order here, but literally the match of the night and quite easily the best thing over both Emergence shows. No surprises either. The 30 minutes knockouts Ironman match. Of course, for the Knockouts Championship, Deonna Purrazzo against Jordynne Grace. The ladies absolutely killed it. Fantastic effort from both of them. What I really liked about this match was it was strategic throughout. There seemed to be a nice little plan throughout this entire match of how the pacing was done really well as well. Everything just clicked into place for me. I really enjoyed the way this was put together. It started off, it felt the first 10 minutes a very cagey affair with both ladies. Normally, of course, Deonna Purrazzo known for the technical expertise and Jordynne Grace the powerhouse. It kind of felt like it was a bit merged in just to a technical match. I love the use of submission moves throughout the entire match. Of course, great resting points for the ladies, but also a great way of actually putting storytelling and feeling and putting over the general story of the match to us viewing at home, and I think the ladies did a fantastic job of doing it. As the match went into the 10-minute mark, Deonna Purrazzo started to dominate in the match. A lot of moves on top of Jordynne Grace, really targeting that arm as she always goes for. She loves to put in that Fujiwara armbar. And as well, I love the fact of the use of the steps as well, the step on the hand as well, just for the extra effect in the adverts as well as we come through. As we go through to the latter part of the matches, the pace builds up. Jordynne Grace gets back into the match and actually wins the first fall. Looks to put Deonna Purrazzo out with a submission move as well. It felt like a sleeper, maybe a rear naked choke along that sort of line. And yeah, Deonna Purrazzo was knocked out cold with just only 6 minutes left of the match. And it was a surprising move, this, because usually you see the babyface chasing a lot of the time in these matches as we get to the latter point. It was the champion that had to chase it, which made a nice, interesting dynamic because, of course, does the heel get back into the match? And also, it's for the excitement buzz at home, knowing that we're thinking, well, we're 6 minutes away from a brand new champion. Jordynne Grace, though, unfortunately, well, from her own standpoints, she ended up being involved with a ref bump. Deonna Purrazzo pulling the ref into the corner when Jordynne Grace was charging in, knocked the referee out cold. And Jordynne Grace hit her Grace driver. And instead of just being on top here with only a couple of minutes to go here and just, continue being the powerhouse, she's got the time on her side. She doesn't need the second fall, although she's desperate for it. She puts all of her attention to the referee, to a detriment and to, well, where the loss is to come from. Of course, Deonna Purrazzo does the perfect heel thing you can do, goes out, grabs the championship, hits Grace with the championship, brings the ref back to life. Of course, the ref magically comes back to life at just the wrong time for Grace. A 1-2-3 count. We then get to the latter stage of the match and it's back all on attack for Jordynne Grace's arm, and eventually she's having to tap out with just seconds to go, to the point that it was a perfect finish of the match. There was no time for Jordynne Grace to come back in. If she could just have held on for a few more seconds, could have perhaps got overtime. I think the only detriment I can have, or the only negative I can say of the match, and this is probably being a bit harsh, is just a little bit on the commentary team. I just would have loved to have seen a bit more passion from them, particularly at the closing stages of the match there, especially with the fact if she could just hold on. Don't tap Jordynne, don't tap Jordynne. You've got a few seconds to go. Overtime. Could have been screaming it for our television headsets, but it just felt a little bit bland from their point of view. But the ladies in the ring absolutely killed it, and for me, they put out a great match. For me, is it as good as the Slammiversary match? It's on par. For me, I would say I prefer the Slammiversary match just purely because of the special occasion that Slammiversary was. It was a big show with a lot of hype, and those ladies killed and stole the show on it. They stole the show here of Emergence quite clearly. My feeling, though, with the entire show of Emergence is that from the rest of the show was more building for what they want to do for next week. It kind of felt like the midpoint of a pay-per-view kind of level of what we had here with these 2 weeks, but actually the show they've put on this week is built on for a stellar show they've got next week, and I can't believe some of the matches that have been announced for next week, because honestly I thought some of them were going to be at Bound for Glory, and that's what I think is really interesting here, because what is the direction Impact are going for? They're actually giving us some free TV, some free stellar matches that they've been building to for weeks. So let's go through some other key points of the show here. And the opening contest, of course, Eddie Edwards loves to do the open challenge. He likes to throw out open challenges each and every week. Superstars to answer. He's already faced the likes of Trey Miguel. He's faced Sami Calihan, Brian Myers. You know, the list goes on. And this week was answered by none other than Rob Van Dam, Mr. RVD, who, let's be fair, he never lost it. He's not just still got it, he's never lost it. Fantastic match between these two. Eddie Edwards eventually picking up the win. What I liked about this as well, if we just go on the RVD side of things before we move on to Eddie, I love that Sami Calihan later in the show had his sort of, backstage thing where he's in his little hacker room describing to us how RVD wasn't quite fully on his A game, was concentrating still on Sami, and that Sami will be in the ring next week and challenges RVD. A match that I really thought was building for Bound for Glory, but these two will be going at it next week on Impact Wrestling. I'm looking forward to it. I think Sami Calihan, RVD sounds like a great match. I'm looking forward to seeing what these two are going to put together. As for Eddie Edwards, of course, after the match, celebrating with the championship, he is attacked by Eric Young, and the biggest surprise to me is Eric Young's making this attack. He's screaming, "Next week, I answer the challenge." Which for me, I just thought, wow, I thought we were getting this for Bound for Glory, but Eric Young has decided the time is now. It was always going to be on his terms. Eddie Edwards goes to the back looking for Eric Young, can't quite find him, comes back out to the ring, makes the cries for Eric Young to come out. Eric Young comes out and says, well, look, you're playing checkers. I'm the one playing chess. I'm the one in control. This match will still take place next week. Eddie Edwards, though, he can't help himself. He says, well, the match might be next week, but your attack starts now. The two brawl fantastically, builds up the match perfectly. I cannot wait for how this is going to play out next week here on Impact Wrestling. We had a locker room talk segment later in the evening as well. I'm not a big fan of locker room talk, I must be honest, and especially with Johnny Swinger's not involved at the moment. But that did build nicely for a match we've got next week. We've got the Rascals against Ace Austin and Madman Fulton. It seems as we could be going into that Rascal territory with Ace Austin again, which I'm a fan of. I want Ace Austin against Trey to, re-go through and finish the feud off properly that they were building to into Slammiversary. So I'm hoping that's where we're going to be going with that with next week. We can't finish this video off without talking about Wrestle House. I really enjoyed it this week. I just thought maybe not as comedic value, but I liked the direction. Everything it seems to be really coming together now with this Wrestle House. From the toga party that we had with the wrestlers, with Johnny Swinger dressing up in his leopard print toga print, hilarious in itself, trying to get Crazy Steve under his wing and, trying to give everyone the Fuji as well, which I thought was hilarious, that play off Mr. Fuji with the, the sand, the salt of the eyes gimmick which was going on. Led to a match as well in the Wrestle House as well with Crazy Steve and, of course, Johnny Swinger when they actually missed Lawrence D with this, which I thought was quite comical because Crazy Steve says, I can't see. Well, we end up with a blindfold match, a good old school gimmick match, which fits perfectly for Johnny Swinger as well. So I thoroughly enjoyed that element of it. I love the fact that we built on later on as well, really getting to the nitty gritty now with the Rosemary, Johnny Bravo and Taya storyline. Of course, Lawrence D has been, brainwashed as the interest of Rosemary to make Johnny Bravo jealous for a number of weeks now. It looked like they were going on a date. They were dressed quite normally while everyone else is dressed in togas. People not quite happy about this in the Wrestle House and making their points quite clear. Alicia Edwards saying to Rosemary, what are you doing? We know your feelings, we know where this stands, and almost to a point that some people I think are getting restless. I think they want to get out of the Wrestle House. Kylie Ray's been saying for weeks she's the number one contender for the Knockouts Championship. She wants to get back there so she can fight for the belt at Bound for Glory. And you look there as well, and Johnny Bravo saying, well, I've missed my opportunity, and Tommy Dreamer saying, well, come on, it's time to man up. It's time to go there and make your point. Get in there. Don't lose out. It looked like that Rosemary was about to tell Lawrence D what the situation actually was. Johnny Bravo had to get in there, had to sort of get physical, saying keep away from Rosemary. Of course, that leads to the famous Tommy Dreamer match time, and we get those two in the ring. Quick fashion, of course, Larry D picking up the victory, but it did lead to Johnny Bravo admitting to Taya as well as Rosemary his feelings and also expressing how he feels Rosemary does feel the same way. Taya, not so pleased about it. Drunk throughout this episode, it felt. And she puts out the challenge next week. Rosemary versus Taya. Winner takes all. Winner gets Bravo. Which, hilariously, Madison Ray did comment actually saying that maybe the winner is actually technically the loser of this match. But I'm looking forward to seeing how it's going to play out. I think that it's certainly a bit of fun. I think Wrestle House definitely during this pandemic has been a breath of fresh air, something to add into these Impact shows. And I've quite enjoyed it. I do think it's getting near the point now where we need to sort of close this off now. So if they can finish it off next week, I think that would be fantastic for timing. And then we can start building for the other matches that we need to build to as we head towards Bound for Glory. The last 5 years since he won the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, and how that's kind of dictated him and how he needs to free himself by getting rid of that championship. A great explanation of why he needs to take that from Moose and why he needs to get rid of this championship. A purpose for the rivalry as well. I think it's been done very, very well. This has not been announced for next week, which is quite good. I feel this is going towards Bound for Glory. I'd like to see Moose's reaction next now. I think that would be a great way to see where this is going to go going forward. But I do think that this has been done very well. Each time I see and hear EC3, you just see the passion this guy has got right now, and personally for me, I feel that we are seeing EC3 on top of his game once again. I really think that this run in Impact Wrestling could actually even be stronger than his last one, and it's great to see the nostalgic when we go back and see what Ethan Carter III did when beating Kurt Angle back in 2015, winning his first championship, the feeling of happiness that he probably felt in that moment, and reliving that with him. It's such a personal feeling with this, and it really helps you connect with the character, so I'm really a fan of the way that this storyline is currently going. Also as well, Heath for Impact. Will he come in next week? Finally, Rhino seems to want him in now for a tag team match against Reno Scum. The challenge has been laid. Will he say to be there next week? We'll have to wait to find out. You know me, I want Heath there. We know Heath will be there eventually. I think this would be a great way to bring him in, but we probably will have to wait till Bound for Glory. Maybe that is the the hold on point that we need for it. But Rhino needs a tag team partner. Reno Scum, I think Rhino probably could beat them on his own, to be fair, but at the same time, it would be quite a nice little pop if Heath Slater could turn up on this show. I should also mention before we finish, we had Brian Myers against Willie Mack as well in a contest, and I must admit, I thought the match was alright. I think these two had a good wrestling match with each other. Brian Myers did steal the victory cheating, which I think is the good way if he's going to win at this point, because obviously he's supposed to also be the most professional wrestler. He seems to be taking the heel persona going on as well, so I like the fact that he's kind of now starting to take some shortcuts if he's going to win. I still think that Willie Mack should have won this match. I don't think it does so good when, of course, as we say, we know Brian Myers' previous history as being known as someone that would lose quite on a regular basis. I think he should have had to really work his way to get his victories in Impact so far. But the direction they're going is still quite fine. I still kind of enjoy it. I think the match was solid between him and Willie Mack. Maybe it's just the first. Maybe they will do this again at some stage. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, not too bad overall. But Brian Myers was the one to pick up the victory. But that's all from me on this particular show anyway. I hope you enjoyed this episode here on SCW talking Impact Wrestling. I like to try and keep Wednesday's Impact going forward, so I'll try and do a video next week. Perhaps we'll start looking towards Bound for Glory next week. We'll see as the show develops from next Tuesday, and I'll try and find a nice talking subject for next Wednesday. But that's all from me anyway. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Please like, share, subscribe. Do spread the word. Share with a friend. Let people know about SCW. It's much appreciated, of course, and we're at 520 at the moment in the subscriber count. Would love to try and push it towards 550. That's the current milestone target, and let's see as well. If you guys are enjoying the Impact stuff, then do let me know. Interact in the comments. I like to interact as well, and the more I get of interest of Impact, the more videos I'll keep doing. I think that's the best way to do things on the channel, to try and gauge people's interest, see what you guys want to pretty much me to do going forward when it comes to making these videos. But as I say, I'm trying to make Wednesday's Impact Day. Let me know if you're enjoying it. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. I'm probably going to take a break tomorrow. I probably won't do a video at all. I think the next time you'll see me is for This Week in Wrestling. I think me and George are going to be doing that show. It should be dropping on Friday. There's WWE Payback predictions coming Saturday this week with the 1 week build. I'm leaving it as close to the pay-per-view as possible. And then, of course, on Sunday will be Ask SCW, the Q&A fashion where you guys can get involved. So I think that's how the rest of the week is looking at. And yeah, hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. Hope you guys have a great day. And I'll see you next time here on SCW. Thank you for watching. Take care. Have yourselves a good one.